Alright, hey, welcome back. For our last hour. So, um, you rest the evening pretty well. You enjoy your trashy TV. And the next day comes. And now is the time to go check out at least um, the apartment company, apparently. The company that's renting out a bunch of these apartments. And it is in the Midtown area that you have to go to first. So apparently that's where you have to head to meet with someone before you can go to the building in oh god, Upper Town. Brain fart for a second there.
And I hate apartment rentals that do this. It's so annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Where you have to go off site
To meet with someone that then can take them to you to that place. Yep. So, you'll eventually, though, make your way to the building, taking the bus lines, getting there. You were arranged for a very early morning kind of thing, so that it didn't interfere with your work, and you'd have some time to check out some places. You'll see a lady with a kind of a hood up. She looks a little her skin looks a little almost scaled, but she'll be kind of the person that'll kind of meet with you. Are you the associates? Are you one of you, Mr. Zirin? Or I guess not. Are you the associates of Mr. Zirin, who I was communication with? His family, his roommates, I guess.
Yeah,
yeah. This part of me goes, why didn't he just put our names down?
I suppose roommates?
Ah.
He's our roommate.
And he wanted you to look into the rooms for him, I guess? Or signing with you?
He's working.
Ah. Well, that's understandable. Well, I heard you're looking for some places in Upper Town. I have a few very nice places. It seems like you're looking for something a little better than your average place in Upper Town. But we can take a look at some places.
Okay.
Sure.
Did you take your own vehicle here or public transportation?
Public transportation.
All right. I guess to my car, I'll drive you around. So she'll drive you to the first site. This area seems part of Upper Town, but it seems actually a little nicer. There's some trees lining the street. There's a bunch of cars there. A lot of people around. Some apartment buildings that seem particularly filled with people, at least in this section of town. We have a few apartments available here for around your upper end of your price range, it appears. So come this way. There's 2 rooms currently available in this building here for the 1,000 lira a month price range. Now it would require you half price down, so that's 500 down for the first for coming into it, and the normal rental will be applied, including the first month, even if you're coming in mid-month. Unfortunately, just a fair warning. Unless you want to wait till the beginning of the next month to come in, which should just be the 500 down. Now, as you can see, this is up on the 3rd floor, so it's a bit of a walk. There is no working elevators in here, unfortunately. Just the nature of this building. But as you can see, as she's kind of letting you into the apartment building.
Have we even experienced an elevator yet?
I have.
Yes.
Yeah, Therzee has.
Oh, Therzee has.
Not us.
I don't like them anymore.
Mm-mm.
They lead to bad things.
Mm-hmm. Bad encounters with interesting men. Let's say
I
that.
wouldn't mind seeing again, maybe just once.
Just once. Just a little bit more time with him. He was so nice and charming. As you can see, this is a 2-room apartment. So I'm assuming that each of you would have to share a room. Don't worry. There should be plenty of room for twin beds in each of them, or unless you are sharing a bed, and it should be fine. There's a small bathroom, as you can see, with just a shower. No tub in this one. It's got a small kitchenette area. As like there's like a main room with like a little kitchen area, like a little sitting room where maybe you could set up like a TV or something. She'll show the bedrooms. They're not huge. They've got a small closet each. There's a bathroom in between them. One bathroom for everybody that would be staying there. As she said, it's got like a toilet, a sink, and a shower. Neighborhood is relatively nice here. If you do end up starting any kind of family, there's relative decent access to the schools in the area. As you could have seen, if you normally take public transportation, it's only a block away for the closest bus stop to get on the network. Parking is a little limited. First come, first serve out on the road. So if you do end up getting a car of your own, or you do actually have a car of your own, it might be a little bit troublesome to park. You might have to park a little farther away. No major crimes have happened in this building anytime soon, so...
Well, that's comforting.
Well, you are looking in Upper Town, so I would have to tell you, we are required by law to inform you if any major crimes have happened in the building in the last 5 years. And if we're continuing our tour of various buildings you might want to check out, well, there are some places. Anyway, if you want to continue with her, she'll actually take you a tour of about 20 different places throughout the day for, like, you know, checking them out. They're different quality, different configurations. Like, one of them just happens to have a very large bedroom where, like, she's like, well, if you're looking for 4 people, you can probably fit 4 twins in here. It'll be a little stuffed, but you could probably make it. And that's on the cheaper side. Some areas that are a little more dangerous. You'll stop by a building which she'll inform you that about 2 months ago there was a murder within it.
Jesus.
But that one goes for like $500 a month. So it's on the cheaper side.
Apparently murder puts the price down.
So, you go through a whole bunch of places. Is there one that hits your fancy? Or like a concept of one that's somewhere in the middle of all these ideas that fits your fancy?
Cheap is nice, murder is not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
The cheap...
and I'm just thinking, like, I haven't gotten a chance to gut someone since we've gotten to this new period. I wouldn't mind someone trying to break in.
Just an excuse to just, like, gut someone.
Therzee hasn't used her gun yet.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even pistol whipped someone yet.
I mean, Mishka's looking for more of the comfortable, bigger places.
Those...
She's thinking more about, like, the cold.
Yeah, the $1,000 one you saw first, or there's a couple other places that were close to that, maybe not quite as nice, but close to that, on the upper end range. Anything probably like 800 or more would be on the comfortable side, I'd say. Anything below 800 tends to be a little small, certainly smaller than the hotel room you have now, which, you know, how it has been, you know, you haven't had to worry about sharing beds just because tub, but it looks like none of them have a tub.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm. Most of them have relatively small bathrooms where they kind of shower at most.
Maybe we can buy a tub and just stick it in, like, the middle of the room, you know?
Manually fill with water.
Yeah.
Change it occasionally.
I mean, we used to do that anyway.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's not unheard of for us.
I'll manage. Don't worry about me. I tell you.
What do you guys think? Should we, what are your opinions? Yeah.
I'd
I
prefer
like
maybe
the-
one of the mid-priced ones.
Yeah. Around the 700 range.
Sounds like a good idea.
So you're gonna aim for something around 700. Okay. So you can find a place with we'll call it a smaller side 2-bedroom. It does have 2 bedrooms, but the bedrooms are pretty small. Like, you definitely would be able to fit like maybe like there's like a couple pieces of furniture and a bed that would be, if 2 of you were sharing it, it would be a little close, but possible. So we'll say like maybe like a queen in there. No, like a double. We'll say a double. That's right. So not great, but doable.
And while we're at this negotiation stage,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use my channel divinity knowledge of the ancients or ages,
Ooh.
and I'm going to gain proficiency in the persuasion skill.
All right. Yes. Please roll me haggling or / persuasion, I guess, then to see about prices.
And I'm gonna like try and I'm gonna try and be like, well, at what I'm gonna go for is like, you know, basically trying to get out of first month rent, in the sense that like, well, we only have half a month, the room's empty anyway, you know, blah blah blah. And there's persuasion.
Persuasion.
Dang it.
The place that you're going to now, you could probably arrange for just half month's rent, or 500 down. Or no, I'm sorry. This one would be, if you're going for the 700 one, 350 down, and 500 at the end of the month, rather than the full 700. They will charge you kind of like weekly for the first month, and if you're coming in this week still, that's what it would be. It would be 400 for just the single month at the end if you come in next week. But it should be like, that's the most I can arrange with the owner of the place. It's the best I think I can do with them. Are you planning on moving in right away, or next couple of days, next week? We kind of have a time schedule because this place is still popular.
Probably just moving right away.
Do you, between the 3 of you, do you have the 350 down?
Yeah.
I have
Should.
248, so...
I have 265, so...
I don't think I've spent really any of my money, so I have like 500 stuff. Okay.
When animals battle each other.
Yeah. But I still have enough on my own.
All right. Do you have anything back at the hotel, actually?
I
Or other clothes.
probably got like a couple things, like some other clothes and, you know,
Right. So
Zarin we should pick up, you know.
So she'll take you back to the building you started in. She'll go through this process of paperwork where you got to put all this information on. Some of it you have no idea how to fill out.
Oh, dang it, I should have cast guidance on myself.
Like current, like previous address, kind of things like that, or a not previous address. Probably wouldn't ask for that. Like some references. What are you using for references?
Tobin.
Okay.
Okay. You just give, like, the address for, like, the pawn shop and the name of Tobin. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Or we could do Tabin, which is our boss.
You could do Tabin, too. You could do both of them. They actually asked for a couple of references.
So...
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
They're just gonna think it's the same person.
Well, judging, there's also Tobin, Tabin, Tebin. Yeah. Well, it's Tobin for cash for gold, Tabin for the pawn shop, and Tebin for their boss. Because... And they're not brothers, they're cousins. Because apparently somewhere in their family, they're very bad at naming.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually had that slightly wrong. I had Tobin as the pawn shop owner.
Yeah, no, he's the cash for gold place. It's Tabin that's the pawn shop owner. Dun dun dun.
Okay, well, I do Tabin and Tebin then.
Yes.
Bar owner and the pawn shop owner.
Okay. Gotcha.
So we haven't had much interaction with the cash for gold guy.
Yeah. You had a little bit of interaction from him from the beginning. And then he recommended a pawn shop run by his cousin. There's other things that you probably will just leave blank because you don't understand what they are. And if you inquire with her, she'll... If you don't have that information, she'll be like, well... We can probably make do about some of this information, but... I will need, like... how about date of birth? What are you putting for date of birth?
I'm doing what I did last time seemed to work, so I put like, you know, like however many moons or whatever it was.
You just like come up with something, you know?
Yeah.
Are we good enough at math to figure out a basic idea that would work?
Maybe?
I mean,
It seems like
Vassal isn't.
Vercel is the main one filling this out, basically, and the rest.
Okay.
What's really funny is I actually like my character is for the most part self-educated, and I don't think I really did much in the math department.
No.
Like I spent in my backstory, I spent a lot of time at a library learning things. But I'm not entirely sure how much of that was mathematics.
You counted the books that you had, and that's about it.
But I guess I could give it a try. I'm going to give myself disadvantage, though. Would this be history or just a straight int?
Alright. Well, you'll come up with a number for birthday. And you'll probably...
Can you hear me?
What? Sorry. You think you broke up for a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, I could roll, but I could probably roll at disadvantage. I'd give myself disadvantage. What would it be, an int or a history?
Int then. Int. Sorry. I like it when Discord breaks up suddenly.
I managed to probably figure it out.
You're close enough, you know, we can say. Close enough. It looks realistic, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You might have made mistakes.
I probably got us off each by like 1 or 2 years, but...
Yeah, you probably have to put in some information on each of the people staying that are supposed to be staying there. What are you putting in for Zirin?
So... I know that... See, so here's the funny thing. Is I know that there's, like, a ghost and there's a succubus that exist. And so I know the weirder things tend to have some amount of rights. So I may just put him down as a... I may actually just put him down as basically a fiend.
Okay.
And leave it at that in general.
And you're the caretakers of Mr. Zirin, yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. Then you do know the responsibility... Oh, then I need you to sign this here. It's just responsibility clause. If you have any dangerous free-willed beings within the city limits that and are watching after them, that you're in charge of any activities that he does, any dangerous amounts of magical powers, any dangerous amounts of attacks, and what type of fiend is Mr. Zirin?
I'm blank. I myself
Imp.
am blank.
Imp.
Oh, okay. Imp.
Interesting. I don't think I've heard of any imps moving into the city from the colonies, but interesting. I thought their kind usually wanted to stay to the fiend colonies. Well, I'm glad that I'm glad one of them has decided to embrace our city and perhaps indoctrinate himself into our way of life. Excellent. As I said, you're in charge of it, so if something happens to the room, to the nearby neighborhood, you will be liable for any actions he does.
Very well.
The dangerous free-willed being clause. Like, if you want to look at the thing, it's like a large sheet of paper with, like, all this writing on it that's really hard to read through, and then, like, some things that you have to fill out and sign at the bottom. Do you want to even bother trying to read through the fine print?
Okay. I mean, are they not by law required to go over it? Or is that just
they're assuming you're going to read it.
That's fair. I
The person will say, read
and
and sign, basically.
Yeah. I'll do my best to skim over it.
Give me an intelligence check at disadvantage.
Okay.
Nope. This they're talking about some stuff and you really don't understand a word of this.
I basically get that destruction bad cost money.
Yes. You get also the gist that if anything happens, you've basically been like, if any other crime or anything happens under the watch of you at very least, you'd be responsible for it too. Because basically you're vouching for him in a populated city of, like, peaceful, intelligent beings.
I'm just like, this probably won't be a problem.
Probably?
Not after he discovered what the internet is.
I mean, he is very distracted. But he is also a unique imp fiend, so, I mean, he's more powerful than your average imp by far.
Yeah.
Alright, the paperwork go through. It will take much longer than you were hoping for the paperwork to go through, but it will. If you're planning on moving in today, here are your sets of your keys. The place is yours. Thank you for the money. Cash is regular in that section of town, so I very understand that you're paying with it. But I would recommend that if you're going to be paying for the account, it might be better to get some kind of bank account and to arrange for the manager to take money out of your account then every month.
Yes, we are new to town. We are still working on getting things like a one of those cards set up.
Charge card. Yes. Well, good luck on your situation. She'll hand you like 2 sets of keys. Here's your 2 copies of the keys. I guess if you want to make any more copies, you'll have to talk to the building manager. He might be able to make some, but you'll be responsible for turning all of them when you move out.
Very well.
And she'll leave you with your new set of keys and your new apartment.
Yay!
And new responsibility over an nymph.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I am glad we did talk down the price, because I don't think we had enough for 700 up front.
I don't know. I think you could have handled it.
They would have taken all of our money.
Yeah, basically.
So, it was $350, right?
Yes, $350, and you'll be charged $500 at the end of this month.
Okay.
Rather than the full $700. Alright, you can easily head back to the hotel, collect up Zirin and your stuff, and head for your new apartment. It doesn't have a lot of furniture. Let me put it that way. It's got some. It's got the kitchen, which has a stove. Yeah, it's got a kitchen of some kind that was pointed out. It's got cabinets and it's got some devices there that you've never used. It does not have a coffee maker. The room does not have a TV. It does have a couch, and in a space that assumed that on top of there, a television could go. The bedrooms have beds in them, and each one has a small, like, dresser next to it. One dresser.
We need to get a coffee machine.
And one of those boxes.
Definitely.
You don't reckon we could take the hotels, do you?
They might notice it's gone.
Yeah,
Wasn't
it might not
wasn't
be a
it
good
bolted to
idea.
the counter?
It probably was bolted down anyway. You never checked.
That might not stop me.
That's true.
True.
Well, anyway, it's time for work. I'm guessing you're going to go to work and enjoy the rest of your day. When you, it's nice to kind of come back to a place. They're investigating it. You can discover there is like, you had some time and a couple of days to investigate things in the room. Like, you found out that there was a box that was always cold. You guess something for keeping things cold. You're not sure what would be put in there. Maybe just to cool something down. Other than that, this place has a similar thing. It's got like a cool box. You will discover that one of the things gets hot. You're guessing it's some kind of oven. You've used like you've seen like ovens in like big small, like much larger wood ovens and stuff. This does not seem to use wood. It just seems to get hot. It's got a larger inside and it's got a top. And playing around with the buttons, you can figure it out pretty quickly. And you folks are smart enough not to burn yourselves. I don't think any of you are negative intelligent.
See, you say that, but I burnt myself today.
Well, I'm immune to fire anyway. It's fine.
Well, you're resistant. You're not immune.
Close enough.
Same difference.
Good enough. You'll be fine.
How about
Exactly.
how about we just assume one of us burns ourselves and I just heal it? I mean, it's like that touching a hot stove kind of thing. It's like, you know, it's not going to kill you, and with a tiny amount of healing magic, it will go away.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll play around with your stove, well, whatever the strange oven box is. It seems to have the top that can get warm. Maybe like a cooking surface. And then it's got like the inside, which gets very hot too, for fun. You got your cool box, which is two different types of cool box. This one's kind of interesting because it's got a bottom, which is a little cool, and then one that's even colder up top. As I said, there's some beds in the bedroom. They don't have any kind of sheets or anything on them. They're just like, they're kind of got this. They don't have like the nice sheets and stuff that you had at the hotel or the hotel, the motel. They have just plastic that doesn't seem to, you don't seem to be able to get under it. It seems to be part of these like mattresses. Well, they have like kind of like, I guess you don't really understand plastic either, so it's kind of like a it's like clearish and smooth and weird texture.
I mean,
it seems like this place is like a house, except with none of the stuff a house would normally have. I mean, you don't have any utensils in there or plates or anything, do you? What, cooking pots?
I got my mess kit.
You do have a mess kit. Okay. So you have some cooking pots you can kind of use. Sort of. Not great, but it would do if you want to use it in the kitchen.
I mean, they're like wrought iron and they're not non-stick, you know?
No. Oh, there is a like a sink in there that produces water too. That seems to be connected to the kitchen area. You can find out where all the lights are, all those basic things. So you have an idea where most of the stuff is and what most of the stuff in the place does. There's just not a lot of things. What is your plan for the day after work? Because then I'm going to assume you're pretty much at the time where you're going to go to work, have another enjoyable work day, earn a little bit more money. Now that
it's
you have
$100 a day.
Yes, I think I said you each get 100 a day. Did I?
It was 100 or 50.
Somewhere in that range.
I think it was 100. Yes. Oh, so
I think it was 100, and we got 50 that day for being the extras.
Yes. Okay, so you got an extra money. Man, I have to like expand my notes more. Like I noted some things down, but I'm like realizing like I gotta note a lot more down with you guys because it's that details of a modern age. There's just a little bit more. What is your plan for the day after? You now have an apartment. You have steady income. It's the 17th in Lent. What's the plan?
I would like to get some, more furniture and bits for the house.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be some time where we're mostly working and trying to, like,
Okay.
get things.
Then why don't we have things kind of fast forward a little bit? That we say a couple weeks are going to go by. A couple weeks of you working and trying to figure out what you need and furnishes with stuff. As much as this like first week that you've been here in this time period has been difficult, things do ease up. You get a kind of sense of, at least for now, a normalcy, like a schedule that you have. You get when your work days are. Your job's your job. Do you keep in contact with the Dawn at all?
I'm gonna let you guys decide that. I don't like elves.
They like your magic, though.
They do. And I may be willing to use that, but I'm not gonna be the one to instigate the relationship with them.
I might keep some contact with him just to see how he stands on the whole changing his religion thing.
Alright, give me an insight check, like as you keep up a kind of contact with him.
Where's the thing? There's my thing. God damn it, I suck today.
You have no idea. You're not sure where, like, he seems to be particularly religious, but whether or not that means that he'd be open for change or not, you can't really tell. It just tends to be like very simple conversations with him, more or less. He does seem to take an interest in you, but he seems to be taking it at like a nice pace, and he seems pretty busy with whatever work he does. We'll just put it at that. Pretty busy time of currently. Anyway, as I said, you'll probably be able to acquire a television. They aren't particularly cheap. Some other pieces of furniture that seem to fill the place as you seem necessary. I'll leave that to you folks to determine whatever you kind of pick up. Definitely a coffee maker. There'll be definitely lots of interesting furniture.
Can't go without coffee.
Yeah. You'll probably eventually be able to pick up a couple more pieces, like things of clothes, stuff like that.
Does that succubus come by ever again?
The incubus?
Or incubus, yeah.
You get a message from him. You haven't gotten a message from him yet, we'll put it that way. Whether or not that means anything, you haven't heard from him yet, Therzee.
Okay. I've stared at blank messages and not sent them.
Mm-hmm. He's been wondering if he's looking for you. Zaren's been spending a lot of time on the... Well, you learned a couple more things, too. You learned that you had to, through the help of Zaren, you learned that you had to get, plans for certain things. Like, apparently the water and the power, like the light power and, television power, they were part of the deal of the apartment. But you had to get, pay money to get, the shows on the TV in. And to get, the internet on the phone. You found out about that. And, there were some nice people that put things together in the apartment for you, so you didn't actually have to do a lot of work for it. You know, cable guy, internet guy, that kind of thing. So, there's a device for each of those that some people came and attached to your stuff. Neat. You're not really sure how it works or what's going on with it. They gave you some basic, preschooler options of, yes, if you have a problem, call the number on the side. Here's the password over here. Here's how to use your TV, basically. Make sure that this box is on before you turn the rest on. So, it'll probably be another, we'll say, basic packages you got, another 100 for the month. For adding in the amenities that you've learned that you probably would have ran into. So, why don't we say for now,
about right.
Over the weeks you've pretty much broken even to what you are. Why don't we say that each of you maybe has around 300 spending left at the moment?
That's fair.
You've been working hard, buying a bunch of
bad.
stuff. Mostly just furniture that you had to kind of pool for, or saving up for it. And it has been moved into the next month, so you did have to worry about that. And the Harvesttide festival was actually quite nice in town. They had giant floating puffy things in the streets. And all kinds of celebrations, and apparently it was big meals, and it seemed like there was the entire idea that everybody would purchase and make a large meal. You made something with your mess kit and the kitchen area. It was probably not as epic as television implied, but it was fine for Harvesttide. Yep. It seems like a lot of those weird traditions for Harvesttide aren't around anymore. They were fading back in your time. It's according to some traditions, dwarves would only drink water in Harvesttide and elves would only drink dew. They stopped that. Nope. That's been long gone. Everybody
Kinda hard to do in a city. All the elves only drinking dew.
It was hard to do, period. And all the dwarves just drinking. It was a day of fasting-ish. But no, that went away pretty well. So, Harvest Tide was very good, and now you are on the... Oh god, throwing it 2 weeks forward. Probably we'll say the 5th of Marpenoth. So it's a day off that you have, and things have definitely gotten stable. You feel like you have gotten most of what you found at the motel. You haven't necessarily like done anything new with like learning about like the religions and stuff, and through Ziren's help you've learned a few things about the world, but again you've been kind of focusing on stabilizing life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now that we got everything up and running, what's the next plan?
Well,
I've been doing my research and I haven't found out much overall. I think it seems like, from what we could tell, I was in the city. The girl was not. It seems more than just this, as he's kind of like pointing at the phone, is going to be needed to figure out. And maybe we want to look into getting some more for all three of you, all of us, rather than just having one between us all. That way, if we split up or something, we can keep in contact.
Maybe the pawn shop might have more.
That'd be
It's a
good.
good idea.
Oh god, yeah. You probably also would have figured out that there was a monthly plan for the phone or something that he paid for one of them. So, I'll assume that was just paid for too. That there's like a $30 plan or something. Like, what you have like cheap phone anyway. Cheap smartphone.
yeah.
One of those brands that's like really dirt cheap but doesn't have very good service. Cough, cough. I'm looking at you. I don't know what off the top of my head. Was it T-Mobile I had originally? Might have been. I don't know. I don't know if it's that bad anymore.
I don't know. Nothing's worse than AT&T in my opinion.
Ah, yeah, there you go. AT&T. It's awful. No, I mean, I don't know. I haven't ever experienced it.
Let me put it this way. I know a family. So a friend. One of my friend's dads works for AT&T, and their entire family has Verizon phones.
Yeah, I mean,
I wonder.
that'll say it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Penrith the 5th. I'm just making a note of.
Let's be real. We probably figured this out when we got the TV set up because they're like, "Oh, do you want to do a cell phone plan or something?"
Well, like a landline. You might actually have a landline
Well,
there.
they do those landline things, but at the same time, you got to remember the same companies also do cellular.
That's
and if
true.
we ask them like, "Why isn't our phone working anymore?" they might be like,
Yes. They'll get you on a plan, using the phone you have. No, you could probably go and get like the pawn shop guy will probably sell you for like another 100, 3 more phones that you can link together. You'll have to put them on the plan yourselves, kind of things, so it increases your plan for the month. So we'll kind of say that it was so that puts you up to, we'll say, $850 for the month. So you earn a good chunk you earn that pretty quickly though for your week's worth of work. Pretty well. So we'll say that you all have easily get cell phones then. You have your apartment set up. What's the cult plan now? Now that you've kind of got, like, at least life stabilized in this future world.
So, if I remember correctly, the last time the eye was seen was somewhere up north.
Yes.
And we have no info about any girl or anyone related to that girl.
Yes,
Yeah.
you haven't been able to find that information out yet. Zirin tried to look into that kind of stuff, but his report was that it's hard to track bloodlines, especially over this period of time. And though things have stabilized after what had happened 100 years ago after the plague, like, there are a lot of places in the world that are very bad off because of it. Like, a lot of the cities have rebounded, like Kalimport here has. You know, like, there are still abandoned buildings in the city. You just really haven't come across many of them, mainly because you've been sticking to, like, the main streets. But
Yeah.
you've learned that, like, there are places in the city that are pretty well abandoned because of what had happened. Still, even 100 years on. And there are actually, like, ghost villages out there still, too, to this day. Places that entire, like, villages and stuff ended up either dying or being forced to move out because of things that were going on. But you also learned there are a lot of small villages and places and, you know, things that were safe. But yes, I believe I said it was, I think, let me check my favorite map, because I think I said it was Baldur's Gate, whichever one is the farthest north. God, my brain is like, you might have had to pass through Baldur's
Isn't it Neverwinter is farthest north?
Neverwinter was the farthest north, and that's where you were going to. Neverwinter. You would have to travel through Baldur's Gate and Waterdeep to get to Neverwinter. They're along the main road. Basically, that follows up that way right there. Now that my brain is actually remembering stuff again. Oh! That's what it is. And you before, when you were at the elven place, it was in Little Evermead. Like Little Italy. It's God. I forgot that is what I was calling it. If you care. Because I am a silly person.
I love it. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Neverwinter is the farthest north of, like, the main ones, then it's Waterdeep, then Baldur's Gate is actually the lowest.
Yeah, and going beyond the normal, like, the map I got here, just quickly, Kalimport's all the way at the bottom.
Oh yeah, like,
Yeah.
Kalimport to Baldur's Gate is about the same distance as Baldur's Gate to Neverwinter, so...
Yeah. It's quite a trek. So you got a long trek ahead of you, unfortunately. Or you need a car. And that was one of those discussions I remember you talked about. Yeah, it looks like there isn't very easy parking, like even for most of the areas of this city. You could probably find parking, but like blocks away, if you had it. You're not necessarily in the safest part of town. You've also learned that there's a couple of local gangs which kind of patrol the area. They're not terrible. You haven't had any run-ins with them yet. Yeah, it's...
I mean, just because we have most immediate access, I say getting the cult up and running should be our next goal. Our next goal.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your plan for going about that?
That's the hard one.
You definitely have gotten a sense that for people in town, there seems to be two types of people. There's a lot of people that just seem to... Well, no, three types of people. Say. There's some people that perfectly don't seem to care about religion whatsoever. You know, just quick questions or inquiries, they tend to not give any kind of thanks to anybody in particular. Maybe like little things at various holidays or stuff, Which there were people like that too in the old days. They wouldn't have like a specific deity they follow to. They'd be like, yes, thank the gods,
Yes.
give a thanks to all of them during harvest festivals, stuff like that. You had those. They seem more prevalent nowadays. There are those that have a religious connotation, like they're members of the Church of All, but they don't seem to go to any sermons or any kind of events at the church. And there seems to be those that are quite religious. Religion itself does actually marry some like ways that your cult went about doing things too. They're very much like, stay within the purview of what's going on, things like that.
So I'm thinking about what the guy said about magic and how it's... And I'm thinking maybe there's a way to... start... basically...
using that as a way of going about that?
Yeah, just almost like a... Well, because I'm just trying to think about, like, not like learn about, but, is like, as I said, like, healing magic is much less common than even regular magic. And so there may be a way for me to... I'm trying to think about how to put this. Like, I don't want to say con, because I actually am helping them, but...
Coerce.
Influence? Coerce, yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Get on people's good sides, like, fine... This would be so much easier if I had access to second level spells, though. There's some really good second level spells for this kind of stuff.
Well, you could always, train yourself to get a little stronger, maybe, too.
Yeah, it's probably a use of my free time, I would say.
Okay.
But, I know there are some... These first level spells for Cleric are basically just heal, bless, detect magic,
Yeah, my only helpful one is Healing Word, but the other is just Poison.
Yeah, but second level is where you get stuff like, Lesser Restoration, I guess, Cure Disease is 3rd level. But anyway,
Alright,
that's
yeah.
Cure Curse that's 3rd level. Anyway, or Remove Curse, but yeah. But it's just kind of like that thing where it's like, like, besides basic healing, actually, I may take 1 or 2 days off, that I have off, to go around the, You know what I'm gonna do? I have an idea. I'm gonna... Because I just realized one of my other things is, so maybe I could offer my help at the, museum and their excavation stuff with Identify.
Okay. Yeah, you could probably find some... they probably would take you as a volunteer, rather than a paid person.
That's. I mean, I assume most people who work at museums are volunteers.
Yes, and you'll definitely be able to help them out. They'll take it too if you're helping them out. You can actually spend some time with. I have to look up the doctor lady's name. If anybody has it written down, that would help a lot. My notes suck sometimes. For this one, it totally does.
Did I write down her name?
She was the Yanti. I will look that up later and try to figure out. I got to try to organize these notes I've got for you guys because I've noticed that they've gotten a little much now. It's just that I keep writing. I've now gone to a second piece of paper at least, so I'm smart. So that I can actually separate them out more, because I was using the same piece of paper over and over again for my notes on this game. For anything I needed to remember. That changes in, like, which names I was using and such. Oh, notes. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. But anyway, okay, so as we'll actually leave off there with you going and volunteering, and you're trying to, like, work at using your abilities and maybe developing them more, as the plan now switches from stability in your own lives to rebuilding the cult and figuring out what to do that. Plus, giving you guys a week will actually maybe some of you can come up with some great ideas for building a cult.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
for Cell's
like you guys
expanding one.
Yeah, because I'm just trying to think about, because like I want a little bit of magical influence so I can kind of be a little bit because that's the thing, is like there's kind of this thing in my mind, in my character, well, in my mind and my character's mind, about like with a cult, like, you know, especially since I'm going to be the cult like high priest effectively, that like I'm going to have to be able to like have shows of power. I mean, right now all I really have is thaumaturgy. I guess I could use mending, but mending's probably actually common, so common enough at least. Probably not as common, but still common enough. Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably think about it over between this game and next. But it's like, I don't know.
Yep.
Second level spells are when you can start to actually do things.
Well, you got your at least that third level. It's on the horizon. It won't be long now. Actually, wait. Let's see here. We've this would be what session now? Well, I'll see what session it is, and if there's levels. You know what? Let's give you that third level. Actually.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems appropriate at this point in time, I think. So we're gonna go over that. So, but
rogue level 3 now.
Yep. But why not go around and have people like say who they are, where to find them, that kind of stuff. Let's do the reverse order of how I introduce everybody. Jess.
That's me. I'm Bubblegum Viking, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. I'll be back in an hour, because I'm also a vampire as well as a cultist.
Yeah. So many jobs.
And I'm probably gonna carve a pumpkin on stream tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't get one of those, you know, little pumpkin carving kits, you know, with the safety knives?
Yeah.
I haven't got one of those. I'm just using the kitchen knife.
It's fine.
Don't stab yourself.
I only burnt myself today. Like, I've already had the accident. Like,
just like if you trace it ahead of time and just don't try to freehand it, you'll probably a little better. You know, just maybe do that.
oh, I'm gonna do the you know, the Elmo meme where he's in front of the flames screaming. I'm gonna do that. That's my pumpkin.
Yeah.
I was just gonna write Brexit, but it still has to go outside my house, so I thought I better not.
Jinxx.
I'm Shams. I'm tired. I'm sick. I'm dying.
It's okay.
I'm gonna stream sometime this weekend. Probably art and games. That's
Yep.
about it.
Worm?
Streaming, what's that? I should do it. It's just, life's been crazy for me.
It gets crazy.
Yeah. But I'm Diamond Worm. You can find me on twitch.tv/DiamondWorm and Twitter @DiamondWorm. And here often. I'll be here in about an hour, also as a vampire.
Mm-hmm. So double vampires. And I'm the DM here, Dracovin. I stream a lot. You can definitely find us here for Vampire in an hour. That's a big one. I'm unsure what's going on with Madness. People can keep apprised with it. There's some things going on in the background with that, with some people that was at least one person that might leave, and because of that, we might do some things to change the game around, because that is a very character-driven show, and though we can have people leave, the effects are something that we have to work on. So that's why that game, I don't know if we're going to be playing this week or not, and if we do, I don't know what's going on yet. So keep apprised of that one. As for other stuff, again, I mentioned this on Grinding Gears on Sunday. No discussing tabletop this week. It has been 3 weeks, but with my friend's death, the one died, and then me just not feeling, and then Joe having a death the next weekend, and then this weekend are having the celebration, or the wake of my friend that died is this Saturday. I can't do it. It's just been like death-related stuff 3 weeks in a row. But hopefully we'll be doing something Sundays at the tabletop. And I might stream some other stuff this week. I don't know yet. Maybe 7 days on Friday if we go into Alpha 18. There was some discussion of it. We'll figure that out. But, check out my Discord and Twitter for what's going on. So, anyway, thanks for joining us. See you in about an hour, folks. For some of you who are being with... Okay, bye.
Bye.